This will just be a live stream. Like the actual video that we publish will be edited down.
Alright.
So.
Okay.
Okay.
We back.
All right, we're back. So, real quick, Celia, I want to try to collect this conversation a little bit and try to keep us on track. Because I did want to explore your early life and growing up in Flagstaff, Arizona a little bit. And we keep, we smoked that before. So clearly we keep kind of losing track of or going off on these tangents. So let's try to keep it a little more cohesive.
I will say I was born broken. Like, literally. I was born with my leg not in my hip socket.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
It just happens sometimes. And, like, they thought it was way worse than it was because there was supposed to be, like, 2 surgeries. But my family didn't have insurance at the time. And they, like, waited because, like, I was already starting to walk. But they noticed when I walked, it didn't look right. And it's because my bone wasn't in the hip socket. It was, like, just rotating around in my skin.
Sorry about that. It's not live. I don't know why. Let's check again the stream so we make sure everything is working.
Okay.
Let's press start.
It says live right here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, okay.
Wait, can you check it again?
I don't know why it didn't show up. I go searching it.
All right.
Some
Cool.
technical difficulties.
Yeah. It's okay, guys. I'm pretty sure the people will understand. This is only our 3rd time. We've been working on this for a few weeks, and we just recently finally started to get content pushed out over these last 2 weeks.
It's like sex.
So, yeah.
It takes a couple tries to get it right.
No, for real, though. But isn't that anything in life, right?
Yeah.
Nobody was born walking. Everyone has.
But, like, the thing was, I was walking. But, like, it looked off, and it's because my bone was just, like, going up against my skin and my muscle and shit. And tendons. But they thought I didn't have a hip socket at all. And I guess they only did the surgeries on newborn babies. So they're like, why did you, like, wait so long to bring her? It's like, well, we didn't have insurance, and they said it was $500 without insurance or something like that. And they're like, so you don't have any money after this? It's like, no. So the doctor did it pro bono. Like, he's like, yeah, it's like on the house.
How old were you when you had the surgery?
I was 2, and I was the oldest kid they had done it on because they only had done it on newborns.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were born did they know that when you left the hospital?
No, they didn't know until I started walking.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, so I was like 18 months, and they were like looking at it and stuff. But it was supposed to be 2 surgeries because they thought they had to make an artificial cup. And put the socket in there, but they they put me under, and like, I do remember that distinctly because they're like, okay, you're gonna go to sleep now. I'm like, I'm not tired. And then I was out. And then I woke up in the hospital bed surrounded by people giving me presents, and I immediately threw up on one of the people who gave me presents. So, like, I remember that, and, like, I remember it hurting.
You remember that?
I remember a lot of weird shit.
Wow.
But, like, those are my earliest memories. Like, you don't have to believe me. But, like...
I think I remember up until I was about 4. I think 4 is my earliest memories I could recall. For me, at least. So, growing up in Flagstaff, you're telling me that Route 66 was a big thing in your city?
Yeah.
Okay. And George Lopez was the first stand-up comedian you ever watched. He's the guy that you
Picture it, 1996. Batman the Animated Series is on season 2 after school. Sorry.
Oh yeah, back then you had to wake up early to catch cartoons.
They were all day on Saturday, but like right after you got off of school, it was Batman the Animated Series and Superman. And then after they canceled it was the Justice League, I think. But also, like, if we weren't watching that, we were watching X-Men Evolution. Because, like, it was the 90s. My sister was in the 80s. She's like, it's not the same. And I'm like, okay. We later found out she was autistic. And she was right.
Yeah. That's one thing that people with autism do have a great attribute at being is correct.
She has no filter. And, like, when we found out 3 years ago she was autistic. And no, I talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just cracks me up. like, I feel bad when she laughs at it too, but, like, I'm sitting there, it's like, damn, Mom beat the autism out of you.
No, for real. That's how minorities do it. I know black people were pretty much the same. There's no such thing as mental illness.
Yeah, act right and help your fucking cousin.
If anything, it might be demons. Yeah. Maybe
Oh, no, I was told that when I, like, started feeling sad and stuff, and, like, when I went to the psych ward. But, like, I had one, I don't even remember what the fuck her name was. But, like, I don't even think she was family. She was just one of the neighbors. But she's like, hey, is it possible God is punishing you for your sins, and that's why you might be trying to end your life because you're afraid to face the consequences? I'm like, oh. Oh, and one of my sisters told me I was being punished by God when I had my miscarriages. And I was the first person.
He told you that?
One of my sisters did.
Wow. I mean, no, one of your sisters told you that.
Yeah.
That's a cruel thing. But I don't know why girls are very sassy with their words when they fight. Here's the thing.
I had like 4 brothers and 4 sisters. I would rather have the shit beat out of me by my brother than like, it was like,
the tongue lashings from your sister. I can't even remember
how many times me and my brother injured each other, and we had to go to the ER for that shit. By that time, my dad was a citizen, and we qualified for access. Changed fucking lives. And then my mom was taking advantage, and she's like, "Oh no, we're getting this shit." Oh no, the health insurance at Marriott, like they'd been working there long enough, they qualified. We didn't do access until after the divorce. Oh, there's 5 divorces. Jesus. Actually, it was like 5 widowings. And a divorce. No, it was 2 divorces and 3 widowings.
What do you think was the roughest memory from your childhood?
It wasn't pretty watching my dad beat up my brother. Like, my dad rarely went after me. And I think part of it was because I was crippled. And I think that's why my brother always beat the shit out of me. And, like, I brought that up, and he's like, I don't remember. So, here's the fucked up thing. My brother didn't really talk until he was 7. Like, they'd call him the little mute. I don't remember the word they said in Spanish. But, yeah, he didn't really talk until he was 7.
Like, so does he also have autism?
No, he's just a slut. Like me. But I ain't married, so. Just kidding. He doesn't cheat on his current wife. He cheated on the last one, though. His meth. I think they both cheated on each other. I don't know. We probably shouldn't put this out.
We'll cut that part.
Yeah, because, like, he watches my shit now. And also, I am paranoid about that. Because, like... Alright, so I will say this. One of my sisters... Okay, I'm not gonna name them. But, I was at her house, and, like, it was when I just started doing comedy, and I was excited. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of people here like me. And, like... Actually, I think it was year 2, and I'd come back to visit. And we were in her kitchen, and, I was drinking a beer with her husband, and he was like, we should go to one of her shows and support her. And she said, no. And he's like, why not? It's like, because I hate stand-up comedians.
Wow, what does she have against stand-up comedians?
My family just doesn't respond well to happiness in general. It's like the crabs in the bucket thing. Like I've talked about with this many therapists. God damn it, when I get health insurance, I have to fucking break in another goddamn therapist. And every time I try and like give them the cliff notes, but they're like, no, let's go back to what you just said. They did what to you? And I'm like, oh, no, it was fine. It's like, you said your father dragged you out of bed and threatened to bury you alive. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's fine. He was drunk. And she's like, okay. Like, I had one therapist. He did legal pad notes. And we were 30 minutes in, and he's like, I have to get another legal pad. Hold on. But, like, he filled up 2, and he's, like, just taking notes nonstop. And he's like, you're very nonchalant about all this. And I'm like, I've talked about it with other therapists.
Man.
And, like, I'll try and tell him it's like, I was making progress with the other guy, but then I had to move so I can go to the appointment, so I do love telehealth therapy. Because there's no reason I have to go to a doctor's office for that. They don't have to touch you. Actually, I think they get in trouble if they do.
No, they're not the type of doctors that should be touching.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the happiest memory from your childhood?
From my childhood.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got this. I have them, I just gotta think. It's not as bad as it sounds, I'm just high. Oh my god, my family in Mexico's gonna see this. They didn't used to fucking care.
Isn't it funny how the world works?
Yeah, and I'm trying to take my siblings' names out of my jokes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and like, I do remember distinctly, I am proud of myself for this.
Uh-huh.
So when I got into Skankfest and I was all excited, like, and like I think my grandma had just died recently. But, and me and my siblings had just started talking to each other again. Like, we didn't talk for 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I cut them off after they were, like, being dicks about the comedy thing. But, so where was I going with that? What did I say before that?
You were saying that you were saying Skankfest.
Oh, yeah, no, like, somebody made another snide remark, and I want to make something perfectly clear. It's like, if I do make it by any chance, don't ask me for one fucking thing. And I'm like, don't ask me for a bus ticket, which you didn't give me to get to work, because you didn't think I'd pay you back. Like, they used to be, like, really, well, they still are kind of frugal. They're weird. Most of them are Republican. Like, nothing about Republicans, but just sometimes the things they say, it's all like, you sound fucking crazy. But I also have liberal family members, and they sound just as fucking crazy. And I'm like, but there's, like, more Republicans. And, like, I'll say shit that I forget's not okay. Or I'll send them, I'm like, can you believe this guy freaking out over this? And, like, I thought they'd be like, haha, it's like, that's stupid. No, their response is like, well, trans people can be a problem. And I'm like, have you ever met one? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, how the fuck would you know? It's like, one time my sister said I watched Tu Wong Fu, and I'm like, that's a drag queen. Yeah. And she's like, what's the difference? And I'm like, I forget. Let me message my other gay friend.
I trust nobody who seriously identifies as a Republican or Democrat or liberal conservative, because they don't really understand politics and the purpose of those parties. The purpose of those parties were never for people to identify as being part of those groups. You get me? The party was never supposed to lead the agenda and the people follow. See, the party was supposed to be an organized means in which you chose a representative that more closely aligned with your values. But the whole idea is that you always, regardless of who was who or which party they were from, you chose a candidate that matched whatever you wanted to see happen within your community. Because at the end of the day, it's all community based. It goes from your city to your county to your state to your country. But at the end of the day, it's just giving you the opportunity to participate in the chance to have a voice and to choose someone who you think matches your values. Nowadays, people don't think for themselves. See, Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson or Rachel Maddow or regardless of who it is, they come online and they say, this is what I think today. And those people are also told what to do.
Listen, like, I haven't really listened to that many of those people.
Yeah.
I did, like, watch part of, like, the Ben Shapiro Joe Rogan episode. I am really enjoying the Joe Rogan experience now. Like, I started listening to it in case, like, I don't know. I meet him and I'll be like, hey, I like your podcast. Because I knew I love his stand-up. But the thing was, I didn't want to watch his podcast for, like, 3 years. Because during the pandemic, I had a fucking asshole. Well, like, I was living with the asshole. But he couldn't work because of the pandemic. So he got drunk all day and just watched the Joe Rogan experience on a loop for 24 hours, just, like, episode after episode. And, like, he started off at, like, the earliest one available. But here's the thing. I have no idea what Joe Rogan had to say because he would not shut the fuck up. Just, it's like, hey, Celia, do you know why Joe Rogan's the greatest comedian in the world? And I'm like, I'd like to find out. I'm like, just shut up. And he would do this with movies, too. Like, he'd pause it and then tell me what was going to happen right before it happened and then hit play. And I'm like, why? Like, we'd be watching... Shit, what did we watch? I think it was, like, some episodes of Community. He paused. He's like, alright, so they're about to do, like, this kind of, like, Han Solo paintball episode. And, like, he just spends, like... Oh, and then he'd, like, always stop. Okay, so if he wasn't saying how great Joe Rogan was, he'd just, like, pause and it's like, Celia, do you think I'm funny? And I'm like, I've told you no so many times. And every time he was fucking surprised.
He probably was genuinely surprised.
Yeah, well, he got mad at me, and he's all like, you can't lie? And I'm like, okay, so you don't want to get better. And he's like, I want to be famous. And I'm like, then write a fucking joke.
Nah, doesn't everybody? Everybody
like,
wants
I
to be
was
famous.
really hard
Nobody
on him,
wants
but,
to do
like,
work.
yeah. Like, I wrote and I went to a fuck ton of mics. I tried. I don't know. But, like, no, he wasn't really putting in the work. Like, he was for a while, and we have a failed podcast together, but he deleted all the episodes I was in. And, most of it's me just yelling at him. It was me, him, Tristan Bowling, and our other friend David Case. And it was called the Fuck Shit Podcast. And, like... He also loved Legion of Skanks, but, like, he never played that. It was always just Joe Rogan. But he'd be all like, Legion of Skanks, Legions of Skanks. And, like, I found out about them, like, a year later. And I'm like, okay, now that I'm away from him, because I just really like that name. I want to hear what this is about. And, like, other people were like, oh, shit, I gotta open for Big J. Okerson. And I get confused because there's, like, Big J. Okerson, Big Irish J... And there's, like, 2 other big somethings with J's in the names. But, like, those are the 2. Big Irish J and Big J. Okerson. And, like, I thought they were the same guy at first. Just based off the silhouette.
Yeah.
But,
So, real quick. Take me through real quick how was your first time getting up on stage and performing? Like, what was your story about your first time performing stand-up comedy? How did that come about?
I was ambushed. I said, like, I thought about it, like, it was, like, my mom was already dead and shit. But, like, everybody, like, just all the time told me I'm funny. And I think it's mostly I just say fucked up shit, and they're like, what the fuck? That's awesome. And I'm like, okay. But, yeah, I guess I'm funny when I, like, give 0 fucks. So it was my funniest at McDonald's. I loved roasting the employees. I also
Would you do it privately or publicly?
It would depend.
Were you one of those people who do you see something you did like you'd tell everybody you'd sit there and roast them to everybody else except them like the entire day?
Yeah, well, like, my 2 favorite roasts I ever did was, like, we had to hire for diversity because our store was 96% Hispanic or some shit. So, like, they overlooked, like, all the white and Native American employees and just hired, like, 10 black people, like, from NAU. And all of them were super cool. But one of them was nasty. And he, like, you're allowed to wear a do-rag, but his was always dirty and had shit on it. Like, it looked like just, like, mucus or dried cum, like, half the time. And he was in the kitchen. People could see it. It was black, and there was a white stain. It's all like, that shit does not look right. But, like, I told him, and I was in a bad mood, and I was, like, running late. And I had slipped on the ice outside. But, like, it was him and a couple guys smoking a cigarette. And he's all like, hey, he's like, are you gonna be a bitch today? And, like, because I don't care if my employees say shit to me either. And I'm like, as long as you do your job, you can say whatever the fuck you want to me. But, like, I looked at him like, dude, we've been through this. And I'm like, come to work with a clean fucking do-rag or whatever the fuck it's called. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I don't need people thinking we take food stamps. And then I stormed off. And everybody was just like, God damn. And then they went inside, and the one black guy who was really good at learning Spanish, his name was Dakaya, he, like, was starting to tell them story, like, translating for the Mexicans. And they'd be like, ah, and you just hear, like, ah.
Oh, I can't imagine you being the manager of McDonald's. I know that must have been a hilarious shift. So tell me, how do you miss the Phoenix scene? Like, what?
So, like, ardently. Like, I love all of you guys here. Well, most of you. Sorry, like, there's a lot of people here. I don't know every fucking buddy. There's one motherfucker I can't stand, but I'm not giving him clout.
You worked the scene out there 7 years.
I did. Well, 6 years, technically. My first year was in Flagstaff.
Okay.
Which was one open mic every 2 weeks.
Okay.
We went off on a tangent and shit. My friend dragged me kicking and screaming to a mic. And, well, like, I told her, it's all like, I'm thinking about doing stand-up, and she's like, oh my god, you'd be so good at that. When's the open mic? And she's like, when is it? And she, like, goes and finds out by herself the next day, and then just, like, ambushes me on a Tuesday, and she's like, hey, the open mic list drops at 6:30. I'm on my way to pick you up right now. You have 10 minutes to get ready. Don't run away. And I'm like, okay. And, like, I go, like, immediately, I'm going to go to the library. She'll never find me there. And, like, I go to open the door. She would have found me. But, like, I opened the door. I turned around to lock it, and she had a Prius, so she snuck up on me. And I turned around, and she's, like, sitting on the hood of her cart, drinking her coffee. And she's like, I need you to try and run. I was around the corner the whole time. I'm like, fuck. And I get in the car, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I said I thought about it. And she's all like, would you feel better if I got you a shot of tequila? And I'm like, can I have two? And she said, you can have as many as you like.
Oh, man. I noticed in so many people's first stand-up stories, and it's the same with mine. Like, a lot of people drink quite a bit their first time. I know I think I was drunk my first time on stage.
So here's the thing, like, the alcohol wasn't working that night. And, like, I was only, like, doing shots.
I've never heard a statement like that. The alcohol was not working.
Well,
what?
Like, I was freaking out because, like, I just felt adrenaline. Like, I was,
it wasn't scared. Relaxing you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I wasn't relaxed. I'd just be watching, and I'm all like, why isn't the alcohol working? And I'd just be, like, watching everybody set, and I just see these guys, like, crushing. But, like, every comic was funny, and there was, like, so the guy who originally ran it, his name was Davey Latour, but he packed the shit out of that room, and Flagstaff is actually a very supportive community in a lot of ways. But, like, he built a following, and it was every 2 weeks, but there'd be, like, 70 people at the open mic just to watch, and only, like, 10 comics would sign up. But, like, that night, 12 signed up, and in Flagstaff you get, like, 8 to 10 minutes.
Oh, wow, that's quite a bit of time.
Yeah, because, like, there's not that many, and everybody enjoys the comedy and pays attention to it. Okay. The ones who don't go out into the patio where there's, what's it called, fire pits. Okay. I love building fires.
I do, too. I think that's something primal in all people.
I also love chopping wood. Yeah. Like, that's, like, I will chop wood and shovel snow, but I don't like going to the gym.
I don't know about that.
I'm weird, but, like, it feels like it's sort of one. But
yo, I moved here so I wouldn't have to shovel snow.
Fucking psycho.
Yeah, shoveling snow fucking sucks. It's a terrible.
Oh no, it sucked. I was gonna say at McDonald's. I did practically live there some days. But yeah, no, because like Flagstaff actually gets like quite a bit of snow. Like we'll get at least like 2 to 3 major storms a year where it's like 6 feet or some shit. Like there's a lot of feet, but then like plows like come and they just throw it to the side of the road and covers the bus stop completely. And I took the bus everywhere. So like I would have to scale a mountain of sharp ice wearing my non-slip shoes, and like it just like stacks like stilettos, so then you're like walking on weird ice platforms.
It's gonna feedback.
But yeah. But I love the snow, and like my favorite thing to do on shrooms, like in Flagstaff, was I'd buy some and wait for a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And then I'd go walk the nature trails. Because there was like a couple right next to my house. Or like I'd go off into the forest and I'd like take yarn with me and I'd just like mark off every 20 trees I passed. But like also you could see the footprints for the most part.
Was it fun living in Flagstaff? Was there a lot of like outdoor stuff, or what did you enjoy to do most out there?
Alright. So I was a fat kid. And also was the weird girl with a limp. And I did not know how to shut the fuck up. Like when I was a kid, like I was 24/7, and I also had like this weird, I didn't have a stutter. My brother had a stutter for a while, but like I hummed. So I'd be like, and you know what? It was like that, and my mom would call me her little owl sometimes. But yeah, like I did that, so I had to go to speech therapy. That it's like, okay, so how are you doing today? I'm doing good. Or like I just like, and then like one time like the therapist like started cracking up. She's like, it's almost like you're singing. And I'm like, but like I did like this weird humming thing, like I was a fucking anime character who just followed around the heroine, just cute and fluffy. Yeah, I did a lot of outdoor shit with my brother.
So circling back around, because I know you're limited on time, and I don't want to. Yeah, no, it's about 7:20.
Okay, I'm high, so it feels like way more time has passed.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
But
I do feel better.
I wanted to ask you. So how do you you did say that you missed the comedy scene in Arizona, which makes sense because you
I
did
should not do this high next time.
Yeah, we will definitely do it next time. There's so much more I want to discuss with you that we just don't have quite the time to get to today. But I wanted to say, you said that you missed the scene in Arizona very clearly. You did 6 out of 7 of the years that you did comedy out in Arizona, in Phoenix. So of course you're definitely going to have a deep connection to the scene down there in Phoenix. How would you compare the scenes, and I don't mean in terms of which one you feel is better, but I'm asking, how would you compare the scenes in terms of efficiency in how would you compare the scenes in terms of your ability to get stage time, the community, and your ability to book shows? See, since those are the 3 big things for comics who are thinking about or considering moving to another place to do comedy, particularly Austin.
They don't like to book dark comics out in Arizona. Like more professional establishments, but like I started getting booked by like comics because they'd see me grind, and like sometimes it'd be like my set sucked. It's like, yeah, but like I see you here every week, and then I see you at 2 mics the next day. He's like, how are you even getting around? And I'm like, well, I'm riding with Giuseppe, but on the days he can't give me a ride, I take the bus. And he's like, don't you guys live like all the way over here? And I'm like, I think so. And like I was super broke at the time. I just left the homeless shelter. And like the only money I had was to pay for the first month's rent. But yeah, and that shit fell through quick. Oh my god.
Oh man, I've had so many of those moments in life. I know exactly what you're talking about. You do not even have to explain.
The first time
you
I
do
ever
not
did
even
cocaine.
have to. I haven't did that one yet, but oh my god. But I threw away some money for absolutely no reason when I'm already poor.
That's fair.
And I was super poor then.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't pay for it. It was offered, but we were having an eviction party. And like, one of them was like, "Let's do coke," and I'm like, "What does coke do?" And they're like, "Celia, just do it." And I'm like, "I don't want to." It's like, "Just do it." It's like, "Why?" It's like, "You'll be able to drink more." I'm like, "I guess I'll try it." And yeah, I didn't say that, but like, I get there and my friend Josh is like, fuck yeah, it's the three of us boys, because it was 4 comics. And the guy who, like, the lease was in his name, and he kind of, like, fucked us. Oh, and it was stupid because I had my rent money, Josh had his rent money, and the 3 other guys didn't have rent money, and it was Super Bowl Sunday when they were saying this. It's like, yeah, we gotta figure this shit out by, like, Tuesday. Can you guys get more money? And I'm like, no, this is all I have, and I don't have a job yet. It's like, don't you work at Denny's? And I'm like, it's like, I have an interview at Denny's. It's like, we'll go there tomorrow and say you really need a job. And, it worked. But no, for the rent thing, Josh did have extra money, and, like, he's a tattoo artist. But he's like, hey, let's go to the casino. Like, they had me do a tarot card reading for them. And it's like, oh, shit, it says we have good fortune. And, like, one of the dudes, Scott, he's like, yeah, let's go to the casino. It's like, that's a good idea. And it's like, give us all a reading. And it was like, oh, prosperity and all this stuff. And they're like, we're going to the fucking casino. I'm like, I'm not spending my rent money at the casino. And then Josh said, shut up, hooker, I got you. And gave me, like, $20 to gamble with. And I went to the blackjack table. And proceeded to win more and more money. And, but, like, Scott and Josh, like, lost a lot, everything. But, like, they'd come up and just, like, grab stacks of chips at a time and walk off and just show up with beers. And, like, ask them to give me a beer, like, 4 times. And they're like, oh, yeah. It's like, we're gonna get you a beer. We're gonna need more, though. But, like, they take turns and, like, I gave all the tokens to, I don't remember who. He cashed it, and instead of paying rent, he took off with it and got a Jeep. I'm still friends with that man.
I'm dead. So real quick, because you're gonna end up having to go soon to catch this show.
You keep saying that, and, like, it sounds foreboding for some reason.
Yeah, because it is, and I don't want to be the one to hold you up from doing that. So,
that's fair.
And you live right across, so we always have time to do more content and more interviews or podcasts later, regardless, you know. So, you know, I just want to ask you real quick before we end up closing out real quick. How do you feel?
My pubic hair.
Huh?
What?
You got me.
Sorry.
Everything's so clear in the mic too, so you can just put the perfect cadence into it to where it just slips by and you have to think about like
Sorry.
I heard that so clearly in my ear, but it was so low that it just
like
confused
I heard
me.
it clearly too.
Man, you threw me off my question.
I'm sorry.
That's why I can't be around you too long. With your recent Kill Tony appearance just coming out and it doing so well and massively successful on TikTok and YouTube, and you just getting an outpour of success, you know, being recognized in the street now. Austin has become this comedy hub, and you know, so many people downtown who hang out at these places like around the mothership and stuff, you know. I'm sure you've been recognized several times at this point. Honestly, how does it feel? How are you dealing with it?
It's weird. Cause like I'm used to like homeless people coming and asking me shit, but like I'm used to that. So like somebody gets like, hey, and I'm like, I am so sorry. I just gave my. Oh, do you need like directions? It's like, were you on Kill Tony? And I'm like, oh, yes. And like, I'll go and like I'm trying to limit my drinking. But, like, I try to keep it to, like, a tall can, a shot of whiskey now, but, like, that part been a little hard because people keep offering me drinks, and I'm like, I want to, but I shouldn't, but I probably will, but for now, I'm proud of myself.
And you should be.
Hey,
You've done an amazing job. Sincerely.
The hallucinogenics have helped.
They help so much.
Yeah.
Especially for people who are into creative arts like we are. I mean,
a cop did stop me, and I thought he knew I was on acid. And I'm like, oh shit, the jig is up. And he said, hey, were you on Kill Tony? And I said, oh, yeah, yeah, I was. And they're like, we liked your episode. It's like, yeah, you made me watch it. You were good. And that was from the
It made
Ty
so
Rivera
many people
episode.
cry.
Yeah. That too. Like, oh, I know because, like...
Was it surreal hearing that moment from Roseanne? I think that's the moment that really did it for me.
Like,
I'm like, oh my God.
I don't want to overestimate it, but, like...
I've seen
3
you.
people have messaged me. Like, well, 300. Have, like, messaged me just saying, like, I cried. And, like, they're like, oh, you're an inspiration. We're so proud of you. It's like, we're rooting for you. Like, shit. God damn it.
Did you answer all 300 messages?
Yeah.
You guys heard it from her.
And I had some really nice talks with some of them.
She'll answer.
God damn it. You, like,
Yeah.
edit the...
Yeah, I can. No.
Like, just the tear part. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sad. My voice is just wavy. I'm going through puberty, bro. You... Sorry. Sorry. I was uncomfortable.
No, but I want to tell you, sincerely, be proud of yourself. Enjoy your moment. It's okay to cry. You came a long way, and it was not an easy journey. And I'm sure every comic and every person who's ever experienced trauma or went through something tough as a kid, to watch you go from the bottom and climb your way to the top, and you still struggle with things. You're not perfect. But that's the beautiful thing about you, is that you're not trying to be perfect. You're just revealing to the world that this is what I like to do. I like to make people laugh. And if you can sit in and enjoy a good laugh with me, then we can be friends. And that's the only requirement for you. Is that, hey, let's sit and have a good time. Nothing else in the world matters. And it's the reflection of a truly, truly pure spirit. And, you know, I think it was Gandhi, I believe, who said, I've seen children surmount like the most...
Oh my God, kids are fucking awesome.
The most terrible circumstances and the most inherited evil, because they have a pure soul. And you're one of those people who I believe truly has a pure soul. And regardless of whatever issues that you have to figure out or you're going through as an imperfect human, I wish you the best of luck, because you truly deserve everything, all the good fortune that's coming to you as a talented person. And I think everyone in the world is going to enjoy seeing your journey as you grow and find yourself and become a fucking rock star. Because that's what that's what you are. That's what you will be, for sure. You will go down. Just stay consistent and love yourself. You know?
I do want to say thank you for all the support.
Yeah. It's easy to get behind somebody as humble and great as you. People will throw themselves at your feet. I mean, I did it from the moment I saw you. I'm like, fuck. I want to be like her so bad. No way. A woman? A woman is this way? I'm just joking. There's plenty of funny ones. But, I mean, truly, you're not even... I look at you as just a talented person. Like...
Oh, it was funny. Like, my first year, everybody just thought I was the other comic's girlfriend at first. It's like, oh, so are you here to watch your boyfriend? It's like, he's not my boyfriend. It's like, okay, but you came to watch your friend, right? And I'm like,
I'm here to...
Yeah.
I'm here to kill.
Yeah, no, like, I'd just be like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay.
I know you wouldn't say that, but that's what you said. You would never say that, but...
No, like, when I was first there, like, I was super shy when I moved to Phoenix. Because also, this sounds stupid, but, like, I thought everybody who performed in Phoenix was, like, a paid, successful comedian because it's Phoenix and it's a big city. Mm-hmm. And I'd never really been. Mm-hmm. And, like, I met a lot of cool people, like, at, not Skankfest, Big Pine Comedy Festival, because they used to do it in Flagstaff. Mm-hmm. But, like, I met, like, so many, like, good, talented people. And, like, they were nice to me. And I'm like, oh, shit. And, like, one of them was my friend Hector. And I meet him, and he's like, oh, Latino comic. Like, that got me excited, because there was, like, one other girl comedian at the time in Flagstaff. Uh-huh. But, like, it was me and 10 Jews. Mm-hmm. That was the comedy scene.
Hey, I bet they wrote some fire-ass jokes, though. You know what
That's what I thought. Like, I don't know. Mel Brooks just built up your.
I don't know what it is about
like
almost every Jewish comic that I met. They're fucking fire with the joke writing. Maybe not
Actually,
the great performers, not the greatest performers, and I hate to stereotype.
Actually, no,
like that's fire joke writing though.
Yeah, no, actually, like a lot of them were really talented. Yeah, they were nice to me too, and like they were explaining like open mics to me because it's like, so like, how does this work? It's like, yeah, you just come practice your material. And I'm like, okay, and then what? And they're like, you practice your material. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, just do the same jokes over and over again. But the thing was, like, when I said they had like a repeating audience,
Yeah.
like, I thought they wouldn't like me if I got boring. So, like, I tried to think of new shit to talk about each week. It was either, like, talking about my sex life or bitching about the people at work. And just bitching about the customers at work. Like, it was just me going off for, like, 20 minutes about how fucking retarded are you. That you can't see the ice cream machine is down on every fucking... It's a, like...
As somebody who's worked at both Walmart and McDonald's at one point in my life, I can tell you, I truly understand hating the general public when it comes to working customer service.
It was on the traffic cones. It was on the speaker box. It was on the windows. It was on every door. It was in the slide in Playland. I don't even think, like, the kids who can fit in Playland can read that fucking sign. They're, like, 5.
Oh, you want to know something crazy? Like
so many people shit in there.
The most similar thing that happened to me was, like, when I worked at Walmart, people would come in, like, for something like the Oculus. Like, the Oculus had just released at the time, I believe. People would come in and they go, hey, do you have the Oculus? And I go, no, it's out of stock. Everyone came and got that this morning. All the ones that were in. It's like, but they say it's on the website. It says it's here. I'm like, okay, let me scan just so I could provide them some proof in their face, even though I've already went through this 20 times today. Like, and I can't just say that to them. So I had to scan it in front of them and show, 0 in stock. And then they always have to ask this question. And this is why it just truly makes me want to snap on the inside. Can you go check in the back? No, I can't go check in the back. Of course, I'm gonna say yes, but I'm gonna pretend to go check in the back. I'm gonna step back there for like 3 seconds. I'm gonna walk right the fuck back out, and I'm gonna say no. We also didn't have it in the back. I don't know if you had noticed, but when we had looked at the app, that's what it had said. We keep a pretty tight ship around here. Like, and they always like walk away like mad, like we're still in the like we're like the employees are hiding the last 3 under the desk. Like,
so it could be partially the bipolar disorder, and because I wasn't on, like, I got off the meds for a little bit, and like, it was also before I got sad, and like I wasn't allowed to be sad in my family, so I just acted angry because I tried to talk about being sad and it didn't work. But that's another thing. But, yeah, no, I should have been fired so many times because I went off on the customers, too. Like, not all the time.
Oh, I would do shit like that, too. But what I would do is I know I'd have, like, 2 or 3 times where I could do it. So I would say some real wild shit one time under my breath, and I'd pretend like the lady was crazy. Because there are those crazy customers who just make shit up. So I know I'd get 1 or 2 times where I could do it. Like, for instance, this one time, this lady was coming up and she had asked me to fix her phone, and she was mad that I wasn't a phone technician. Like, though I work the mobile phones department, like, I'm not a phone technician. I don't know how to fix a phone that's not charging. Like, and people would come up with problems like that all day. And she got furious. She was furious. So she was asking me, she was asking me to fix her phone. I'm like, bitch, this is the last flip phone on earth. This is the last flip phone on earth that you have. And she must have tried to go tell my manager that I told her that this is the last flip phone that exists on earth. Like, and I'm like, but I'm such a sweet person. I'm like, I did not say that. I promise you I didn't say that. Like, the lady is lying trying to get something free. That's always what I was used. Like, they're trying to get something free because everybody who worked at the front desk could relate to that. Like, people just making up weird shit to try to get something free.
Yeah, like, I didn't give a fuck about that. I'm like, fuck it, if you're hungry, I don't give a shit. But, I stole food all the time.
No, but if you didn't put sauces in the bag at McDonald's, if you did shit like that,
No, I
honestly,
thought that was a
kinda
dick
deserve it.
move.
Yeah, that's really like one of the most scandalous
like,
things on earth to
yeah,
do.
just tell me. It's like, just tell me a number. It's like, I want 4. No, like 4. It's like, yeah. So I'd give them 4. But like every time they said a handful, and I'm like, a handful is not a number. They teach you that at Taco Bell where I worked before. But I would walk to McDonald's because they had like,
Yeah.
I was going to get frappuccinos and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're Taco Bell, we don't have that. And it was like right across the street. But I go and this lady was like, "Can you grab me a salad bag?" My uniform looked nothing like their uniform. And there was a Taco Bell insignia. And it said Taco Bell above my name, Celia, on my name tag.
Yeah.
And I had the fucking Taco Bell logo on my hat. Big purple with a little yellow bell. And she's like, "Yeah, can I get a salad bag?" And I'm like, "I don't see why not." Like, I didn't think about it. And she's like, "Go get me a salad bag before I talk to your manager." I'm like, okay. So I walk, like I wait in line.
People act like talking to your manager will like resulting you being executed. Like, that's
Well,
not.
here's the thing. Of all the times like I should have gotten in trouble, like, okay, so this story's better. This lady, she's like, it took her like 20 minutes to order like 2 things. And I'm like, "Ma'am." And she's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Where is your caretaker?" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Your caretaker, where is he or she?" And she's like, "What do you mean my caretaker?" And I'm like, "I refuse to believe you made it this far in life by your fucking self." And the 4 people behind her in line were just like, "Oh." And my boss came around the corner. It's like, "I will have a word with her right now." And he takes me to the back and he's like, "To the other office," which is the walk-in fridge. We go in there and we both just started laughing. He's like, "I have to write you up." And I'm like, "I know." I'm like, "Worth it."
But Celia, it looks like our time is drawing to a close. You do have to get down to go do a show. You are a busy woman these days.
Yeah, and I walk slow too. Yeah. But yes, it has been a pleasure. And
it has been a pleasure. So just closing thoughts. We wish you all the best in your journey moving forward. Of course, we live right across from each other, so I see you all the time. You're one of my greatest friends here. And it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure watching you come to Austin.
Okay. I do want to ask one question before this is over.
Okay.
Now that Mexico has shown the aliens, do you think David Jolly's still gonna smash?
Yeah.
Gang violence.
And I am too.
They're so little.
Oh, they look like Invader Zim. You ever seen that?
Yeah, I love Invader Zim.
Yeah, those. But those aren't real aliens, though. Yeah, but that is crazy. But yeah.
The thought just makes me happy.
Me too. I would love if like we had like solid, like great looking alien. Like just imagine they could turn into whoever you want.
Green woman from the first Star Trek.
Yeah.
And
she
that blue bitch who got eaten by Jabba in the second movie.
Or
the 4th movie.
Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ew, she was pretty. I liked Ryoko the space pirate.
She was fire too.
You know Tenchi Muyo?
No, but I tried to play it off there for a second.
Okay. All right, but here's the thing. We'll talk about it later, not on this, but like her name's Ryoko, but like I low-key think they ripped Rick and Morty off of her. Like they definitely did Doc and Hudson, but like it came out in the 90s. She was an international galactic terrorist wanted by a police federation. She blew up planets, which is why she was wanted by the police federation. But she also had superpowers, and she was part demon. And her spaceship was a cabot. Yeah. Like, it was a cabot. She threw it up in the air and said, "Ryoki," which is his name. And he would turn into a fucking pirate ship. And he fucking meowed. He loved carrots, and he turned into a big-ass pirate ship that could fit all the rest of the harem, because it was a harem anime. But like, oh, it's funny.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. I know you got to get up out of here.
Oh shit, I do need to leave. Sorry.
I will catch you.
Take this off before I forget.
That'll be a wrap, guys. Thanks for joining us today, Celia.
Sorry.
We're out.